So we are here in Puerto Rico.
Vega Alta.
Yeah, Vega Alta.
This is Vega Alta. Cerro Gordo Beach, by the way. Cerro Gordo is the beach next to the town that, one of the towns that I grew up in. So it has a lot of fond memories. So I'm happy to be doing this here.
Yeah. All right. So I just thought that I would ask Angel Rivera, a little bit about his experiences, why Pitorro is so special, and kind of how he indoctrinated me and his other daughter, Xiomara, into the culture.
Okay. So it's unavoidable to get indoctrinated in Pitorro.
Never stood a chance.
When you're on the island, yes, absolutely, because it is such an important part of the culture. For me personally, my dad has always been somebody that has been a connoisseur of it. He had his own recipes. He grew up in a generation where Pitorro, they used to drink it just like straight up without adding any infusions or flavors to them. So that was pretty hardcore. But, you know, understandable for that we're talking about the 40s and the 50s, right? Then his generation started adding some flavoring to it, mostly the traditional recipe. Which
is?
The traditional recipe is raisins and prunes. That's the basic formula. Then you can actually break out from that and add other things. There's some pretty crazy recipes out there that people have where they even put like meat into it. You know, ham, different things, because it just adds different flavors to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never had Pitorro with meat. I wouldn't be against trying it. But
yeah, anything to know and check it off the bucket list, right?
No, absolutely. But so that was my dad's generation. So I grew up drinking mostly the traditional Pitorro. My generation started doing a little bit more to it, like, you know, flavors that were more tropical flavors, coconut, pineapple, almond, those kinds of flavors. And then just like anything else that evolved, right? So the generation that's coming now behind us are taking those flavors and they're combining it. So you get pineapple with coconut, ginger with mango, all kinds of teas that they're using to infuse flavor into the Pitorro. And basically your imagination is the limit as far as what you can do yourself to it. So I'm sorry, I didn't answer your question, the second part. So that was me. I'm a retired military guy, so we actually traveled quite a lot.
Go Navy, beat Army.
Yeah, go Navy. We love Army, but we're going to beat them anyway. I would take advantage of every opportunity that we actually came to the island in order to try to teach my daughters as much about the culture as we could. And it was unavoidable that we came down for the Christmas holidays, and it would be Pitorro all over the place. So that's how they both started. They started trying out, tasting different Pitorros in family gatherings in Puerto Rico, and they liked it. So here we are.
Yeah. So let's take a second real quick to answer some common questions that I get when I'm out in the world talking about what Pitorro is and why I'm excited about it. Pitorro, I'm right in saying that it's not what you typically see commercially in terms of rum. It's Puerto Rico's version of moonshine, but it's rum-based.
Correct.
And what else can you tell us about it?
So when we call it moonshine, and our brand is moonshine, but moonshine really is not a particular type of spirit. Moonshine is the actual process or way that you go about producing it, where you're doing it without government supervision, without paying taxes, illegally, clandestine rum. That's what moonshine means. So that's why in the States, moonshine you hear, and it'll be bourbon, it'll be whiskey. For us, on a tropical island with our traditions of rums, like Cuba, Puerto Rico is the same way. So for us, when people went up into the mountains to create spirits that were illegal, clandestine, they didn't want to pay taxes, what they did was rum. So that's why for us this is moonshine. And here it has a cute name, which is Pitorro. That's how it's called here. It has a couple other names, Pitrinche, Lágrimas del Monte, Lágrimas del Manglar, Tears from the Mountain, or Tears from the Swamp. So all these cute names, right, they gave it. But in essence, moonshine is that, and it's no different than a rum that you distill at a regular distillery, right? It does have moonshine in particular has some characteristics that if you know about it, you can tell the difference between a regular rum
Right.
and the moonshine
There's
rum.
a certain nose to it.
There's a nose to it and there's a palate to it, and in essence, the nose to it is there's a sweetness to it, right? It's made out of sugar cane. It's made out of sugar cane molasses. It's made out of raw sugar in some instances. So that is in essence what when you actually if you put different rums, white rums, in front of somebody that and you tell, okay, can you tell what Pitorro is? What you look is for that sweetness
Right.
in it, which again translates to when you infuse it with something. You infuse it with fruits. The fruits are sweet. The rum is sweet. It makes for a very sweet and delicious rum with all the flavors.
Yep. And you're not going to see this typically, at least, barrel aged.
No.
Usually, you flavor it in a bottle or in a coconut even.
Right. So the yeah. So you can. It's just like any rum. You can put it in a barrel, and some people are doing that nowadays. My father, I actually happened
He
to
has
give
a little
him.
one, right?
I happened to give him a small barrel, and he actually took some Pitorro and put it in there, and it came out really nice. The same thing that happens when you put any rum into a barrel. It gets aged. It gets the oakiness from the rum, from the wood, and the characteristics of the wood, and it's good. But traditionally, that's not the way Pitorro is prepared. Pitorro, as soon as you distill it, it's ready to be infused with flavor. And then the aging process is just enough time to give the rum time for the flavors and the rum to settle together and to
marry, so to speak.
to marinate. Yes, exactly. Two things happening: the rum gets the flavor of the fruits. The different ingredients that you add to it get the opportunity to kind of commingle and become one. Right? If you add cinnamon, if you add almond, if you add different things, it allows for it to kind of get in the rum in a way that then people go like, what does this have in there? Does it have ginger? Does it have cinnamon? Does it have clover? Does it what did you put in there? And that's part of the fun of it, right? So and then it also allows the rum to lose that bite, that bite that people don't like, right?
Because it is so high in alcohol content.
It is, yeah. It is, yeah. The proof is very high. Typically, it's very high. It tends to be close to 100 proof, 50 alcohol by volume, and that's part of the trickiness of Pitorro, right?
Yeah.
So, word to the wise, Pitorro is a rum to be sipped,
Yes.
and it's a rum to be sipped slowly. So you give yourself a shot, and in that shot, you can take 4 or 5 sips. And then you continue your conversation, continue what you're doing, cooking.
Very much a social type of
It's a very social kind of rum. And then once you kind of see how that one, you handle that one, then you can definitely have another one. So, and that's easy to do when it's just one flavor. It's much harder to do when you have, traditionally you have parties here in Puerto Rico or out in the diaspora where you have Puerto Rican practices. You have many different flavors because part of the fun of this is actually creating your own recipes and coming up with multiple recipes. And as soon as you taste one that's really good, and then you look at the other one and it has some fruits that you really like, maybe mango or coconuts or pineapple, then it's like, I want to try that one.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to be careful.